Hi guys. All right, so I actually really like this angle. I mean, there's some like darkness coming from right here, but all right, so today's video, I'm just gonna sit here and I'm going to chat. I referenced this, that I was gonna talk about this in the last vlog, and I've been asked by several people how I've lost the weight that I did, and to just kind of like talk about it. So first things first is I want to say that this is not a weight loss video. How I lost the weight was not by me intentionally, I guess you could say, trying to lose weight through like diets and exercise. It was really just because, and I know a lot of you know kind of what's been going on, it was just through you know, just stress, my stomach hurting all the time, things like that. So unfortunately, I can't come on here and say, this is what I did, here are the steps, you go apply it if you want to, because that's not what I'm going to be saying today, if that makes sense. So, but I do feel like I've learned a lot about myself and my body. So I'll be talking about all of that. So just to give you guys a general idea, I'm 5'5", and I would say that the bulk of my adult life, I ranged between 134-ish to like 138. Like that's just like where I always kind of like ping-ponged within like those 4 pounds. But there was a time like in my late 20s where I actually got up to 160 pounds. And I just did like, I used to run all the time, and then I just like dropped the weight from exercise basically. And then, yeah, so stayed within the 134, 138 range most of my 30s, maybe even a little bit lower here and there, like 130. And then the last 2 years since moving into this house, I was at 150. And it's interesting because I was actually really confused by this. I remember thinking to myself, like, I'm not really eating any different, and if anything, I'm eating healthier, not the most healthy, but healthier than I was before. And I was jogging all the time. I mean, you guys, you know, would have seen all the jogging clips that I've done the last 2 years. And I remember thinking, this is so bizarre. Why am I not losing weight? Like, I'm out here running all these miles. Yeah, so I just felt very confused, very defeated, but now I feel like I'm kind of getting a better understanding why I wasn't dropping the weight. So let's talk about the fact that I guess I've lost like 15 to 16-ish pounds. So I wasn't after anything. I wasn't trying to lose the weight. I was under a lot of stress from losing Loxy, from where my mental health was headed, and I was starting to experience a whole new range of pain, I guess you could say, with my stomach. Now, backstory, my stomach has always been a problem, like since I was a little girl. And I've already gone through all of like my stomach history with you guys. But this was new because I knew what I was experiencing pain-wise was my typical IBS-C symptoms, IBS with constipation. But it felt intensified. And I then learned that coupled with depression, maybe even like anxiety or panic or just mental health, sometimes I'm not a doctor, so I don't know if this is true, I just read it. I don't know who the source was. It doesn't mean they're credible by any stretch of the means. I just feel like it resonated with me and it made sense to me. So that with these things can lower your pain tolerance. And so I just really got to this point where I was like, I can't handle all of what's going on in my mind plus the pain of my stomach, which I'd been just taking. I was just taking this pain, like, okay, I have this, like, this is my life. And I was like, I can't hold all of this on my plate. Something's gotta give, because it was just too much for me. And I made a pretty huge change in what I was eating. And that's probably the reason for the weight drop. I really brought myself back down to, to foods I really like. I've been doing my, I guess you could say, my yogurt parfaits with that granola you guys have seen through previous vlogs, with my Greek yogurt, the honey. I'll chop some fruit in it. I literally have not stopped having that breakfast. I have it every day. Sometimes I'll make eggs for breakfast. And the reality is, going through all of this with my mental health and then my stomach having its sensitivities, I've learned that for me personally, again, I would never advising this, but my journey that I've learned with my stomach is my stomach simply can't handle the, I don't know if you want to say normal range of food that I guess the average person would consume. My stomach doesn't like it. It's too much food. I'm probably better served if I eat smaller things throughout the day rather than large portions of meals. My stomach can't seem to digest properly, has a problem digesting, I guess, the way that it should in a normal way. So through this, I realized my stomach does pretty well if I cut back my portions and just only give it a little bit at a time. The other thing that I stopped doing was eating so close to bedtime. Like, I don't eat dinner at 6 o'clock anymore. I pretty much eat dinner at like 4 or 5, which, you know, I'm not saying that's going to be permanent. None of this really about what I'm going through is permanent. It's just, I'm in a learning process right now. So I think the fact that I completely changed my diet, that I'm pretty much giving what I think are bland foods for my stomach. I stopped dairy, not that I want to, trust me. I mean, sometimes I'll have pizza. My stomach seems to be okay with pizza, but like, I cut out ice cream altogether. Just trying, you know, all of those things. So coupled with changing my diet on top of cutting my portions, I think there's also a third reason that's contributed to why I've lost weight. And I think, honestly, that's that I stopped running. What I have learned is that just because running can scientifically burn calories and help people lose weight, it wasn't working for me. And I guess that's probably why diets are so frustrating for everybody, and exercising is so frustrating for everybody, because sometimes you feel like, why isn't this happening? It's probably because, and again, not a doctor, but for me, it probably was because it just wasn't working for my body. And you have to figure out what the math is there, and what that sweet little combo is that helps me to lose weight. I have read that sometimes the high intensity interval training, or whatever it's called, HIIT, I have seen videos of people talking about how that can actually, in some cases, hinder people in losing weight, that it can potentially make you gain rather than lose. And that's probably what was happening to me with all that running. I think it was inducing, like, that's my dryer. I think the running was producing like more of the stress cortisol, or like whatever those terms are. I think it was because of my hormones and whatnot. It just was a bad combination. And those were the three biggest things that I noticed: that I changed what I was eating, that I cut my portions, and that I stopped running. To be fair, I have not exercised properly. I take Loki for walks, but I wouldn't say that I've been walking again. I kind of stopped walking when I was having some like anxiety, I guess you could say. I would just be out walking in the neighborhood, and then I was like, I gotta get home. So I really haven't walked since then, but I feel like I've been steadily getting better mentally. So I'm going to be doing some exercising, but I'm going to be walking. I might run here and there. I don't think that I will never not jog again, because I love it, but I just don't think that I can do what I was doing before. I can't do it daily, especially on my knee. If anything, I might do it like once every 2 weeks kind of thing, because what I'm really going to focus on is walking. That's it. And as a matter of fact, I remember thinking when I was doing all that running, I was like, maybe I should just try walking instead. So the point of all this is, while running can help person A, it may not help person B. And it's like, and the whole point is you have to figure out again what that sweet spot is, what just works for you, because there could be other things involved, like hormones and, again, not a doctor, I don't know. The thing is that I'm still on a journey to what I'm eating, because I've been saying this quite often. I'm currently in a phase where I'm just pacifying my stomach, because I couldn't, like I said, handle the mental, then having the constant stomach pains, the waking up at night. Like, I just needed to be able to sleep through the night. Waking up through the night when you're just mentally exhausted, it is just, man, it's tiring, and it was breaking me down. Like, I needed the sleep. But again, that's one of the phases. I am in the process of, okay, I need to start cooking again. Now that I know I gotta be on a smaller portion range, I've learned, again, that eating dinner a lot earlier before I go to sleep is better for me, because I've learned with myself that I have poor digestion for whatever it is, whatever's kind of going on in my stomach. Yes, it does need to be addressed. I need to find out why. Why does my stomach not digest properly? What's kind of missing in my stomach, that breaks that down. So I chew my food a lot. That helps with the digestion. My stomach doesn't have to do too much work. So I do a lot of the chewing. The saliva breaks it down quite a bit. So I do that to help my stomach. Then I try to avoid the things that automatically inflame my gut. Pasta, I guess I most likely have a gluten issue. Then again, I eat well before bedtime so that I have time to properly digest my food. And you know what I've learned is, since doing this, since eating well before my bedtime, I don't wake up in the middle of the night with stomach pains. That has been a huge relief. However, what I've also learned is that sometimes in the middle of the night, I'll wake up and feel like hunger pains, because it's kind of like my clock is off a little bit from, when I last ate. So, but there's also fasting. So, I know I'm fine in that range for myself, but again, I still need to, there's a lot to figure out here for myself. But so far, I've seen at least an improvement in terms of my pain. I'm not really experiencing as much of my IBS-C. And I truly want to believe for myself that I can get rid of this, that I can be healed from this and not have it as a diagnosis to myself. That's just what I want to believe. I'm gonna do, I've been doing so much research. I'm really trying to start doing my supplements. I want to get some blood work done, see if I have any deficiencies as well. Just make sure that like I'm arming myself with the nutrients, because again, right now I'm in that phase 1 or whatever I'm calling it, where I'm just like pacifying my stomach right now. So I might not be bringing in, all the vitamins and nutrients that I need. So I'm in a big learning curve for myself. But hopefully this answers anybody's question, like on how the weight kind of fell off of me. Again, it's not something that I would ever recommend. And it's a personal journey. And I know that's gotta be frustrating, because you want to see something and it's like, okay, I want this to work for me. It's just a personal journey. You have to figure out what works best for you through, you talking to your doctors and like whatever, works for you. I'm doing obviously what works for me. So, it's just, and that's just the journey I'm on. I'm just trying to figure everything out, trying to listen to my body. I just kind of accepted it. I accepted this like diagnosis that I got in my early 20s. You kind of just keep hearing it in your mind. I mean, I'm 40 now, and it's like, why did I just accept that? And just like, and by that I mean I would eat and then deal with the constant stomach bloating, stomach pains, the trips to the bathroom, like. So anyways, yeah, not to dive too far deep into that, but I just want to say that if I learned anything, and this really took me by surprise, because it's like, okay, well, if this diet works for all these people, it should work for me too. If this exercise works for all these people, it should work for me too. What I've learned is that that's not true for me. I obviously cannot speak for anybody else. It's just not true for me. So, one might work for me, one might not, that kind of thing. So it's just, I guess you could say, trial and error. So I'm going to still constantly try to give myself the healthiest things that I can. Obviously, I'll still have a cookie. I still love those things. Like, this isn't easy. Like, I just freaking want a burger, okay? And sometimes I'll have that, but I'll have it in moderation, because my stomach, again, can't seem to handle so much food. It just breaks it down better when it's just in the smaller portions for me. So, I feel like I was headed somewhere, but I just kind of blanked out. Oh, and I'm going to walk instead of run. I'm going to do yoga. I'm going to do some meditating, some deep breathing. I've read too that a lot of like breathing exercises can help with your stomach. The thing is that your stomach, which I've seen being referred to as like the second brain, if your stomach is off, if your gut is off, like your whole system can be imbalanced. And for me, I carry a lot of stress in my stomach. Y'all listen to that. You good? I don't know what's in there. Oh, it's my quilt. I'm washing my sheets. It's Sunday, so I'm washing my all of my sheets, and that quilt from Target is so heavy. It's probably in the spin cycle. Yeah, so that's it for this video. I hope that answers any of the questions that anybody had on like how I lost the weight. Again, it wasn't like, I'm gonna lose this weight, here's what I'm gonna do. It was really something that I did to help my mind so that I wouldn't have my IBS symptoms. And through it, I was able to learn about my body a lot. I never knew that it's okay when smaller portions, you know, like, so a lot of discovery, and I'm still going through this discovery process now. So anyways, that's that, and I will see you guys for another video soon.